What's up, everybody? So today we got some exciting news because Rdruid's got some buffs. Alright, if you guys haven't heard, this was going on for the last few weeks. Rdruid did get some nice buffs for the next patch, 9.0.5, and it's super exciting to try out. I think we're going to see some crazy healing and some crazy damage. Maybe a little bit of a meta shift with all the HPAL nerfs, but I still think HPAL will probably still come out on top. But I think Rdruid is going to really be pushing up, especially if they continue on with these changes. So today I'm just going to quickly go over the changes itself, some strategies maybe you can use to take the, get the most out of these buffs, and kind of a little bit of comparison between them, and then finally what I'm going to do. So let's get into it. So we got here the changes. Where is it? There it is. Bam. The changes here. So first off, most importantly, Rdruid here, rejuvenation increased by 12%. That's a nice change. Is it the exact change we needed? Probably not. I think the biggest damage is burst, but I don't know how they can, address that without making them overpowered. So this is a great change. Nonetheless, 12% would be very nice. And if you are running germination, that is essentially a 24% increase in your HOTS, which is very nice, very nice. And then the other change is wild growth by increased by 7%. Don't really use this too much in arena. RBGs, this is phenomenal, especially with early spring. But don't forget that every time you do press overgrowth, you do get a wild growth. So this is not completely useless. You will be still getting some benefit out of this, which is great. The other changes that were here are for the Covenant Necrolord. Kind of interesting that they buffed the very best they buffed Rdruid on top of the very best Covenant for Rdruid. PV changes, I guess. But anyway, so they buff Fleshcraft has been redesigned to form a shield of bone, so now over 3 seconds instead of 4, and absorbs up to 40%. This used to be 30%. And then while channeling it, your damage is reduced by 20%. Now it is also a defensive cooldown, potentially. This is very, very interesting. They did. Just to reference here, this is how fast it now is, which is pretty nice. And at the time, with 39k health on this guy, I have 15.8k shield. And then while I'm channeling, I reduce my damage taken by, whatchamacallit, 20%. So it's also a nice defensive, because I've noticed sometimes when you do play Necro, sometimes you might get kicked when you're lower and you're kind of getting in trouble. You can actually, opt to use Fleshcraft because they don't have a kick to stop it. And especially if you're running ultimate form, they can't do anything to stop it at that point, unless somebody else has a kick, This is a very nice change for Fleshcraft. I think it's going to be, especially with ultimate form, it's even nice for any class that's playing Necro. Shamans, Death Knights, and Druids. The other change is a big one. In my opinion, the biggest one, from my point of view, is the Adaptive Swarm buffs. Alright, so Adaptive Swarm, let me show the tooltip here, in case you guys are wondering. So it commands a swarm that heals 4k or deals about 4k damage for 12 seconds based on the target that it's on. And while that buff is up, it increases their HOTS or dots effects by 31%. Baseline is 25%. This is with the conduit. I have the weakest conduit. This is about 2 to 3% strong, probably about 3% stronger when you max the conduit out. So that's a lot. So if you max this conduit out, it's probably, you give or take 34-35%, or 33-34%. And it will just jump from enemy to friendly. So if I use it on an enemy, it's going to sit on the enemy here, and it's going to tick and do some damage, and then it is going to, when it expires, it has 3 stacks. It'll go to a friendly partner, and then back to an enemy. Just really quickly, I just want to throw this out there. This is a cool little trick you can use for Adaptive Swarm if you want to maximize single target healing or damage with it. So if I use it, wherever you want to use it on, prioritize is offensive or defensive, use that first. So let's say I use it offensively first, right? I wait for it to go back to them, and then do not refresh it until it gets to the end, because I noticed the swarm does not go past 12 seconds. So you wait for it to go right about to the end, and you use it again. That is potentially 24 seconds of uptime on Adaptive Swarm, 24 seconds of increased HOTS or dots on the target. From my point of view, this is what I was doing in my last 2 videos, have you guys seen, with Heart of the Wild. So I was Heart of the Wild, Rake, Rip, and Moonfire, Sunfire, trying to keep them all up the entire duration of that 24 seconds of increase. So that is, so just hear me out. This is, so if I pop Part of the Wild here right now, right? Look at this rake damage. 2,700 ticks. 2,700 a tick. Does it show, no, it doesn't show there. But that is absolutely enormous. And then, you know, you have Moonfire ticking that hard, Wraith ticking that hard, Rip ticking that hard. That is insane. All right, and then on top of that, Adaptive Swarm itself is getting buffed. So it's now doing more damage, 25% more damage and healing itself. So don't forget about that. So that is another big, that's a big buff. That's just straight up 25% increase damage and healing. And then, yeah, so then the effectiveness, it changed for boomies. Necrolord Boomy, probably not ideal at all. I've been playing a little bit as like an off-spec because I'm playing Necro on my Horde Druid currently. It's cool for like Prickling Thorns, but outside of that, it's pretty useless. Definitely stick with Kyrian or Knife A for Boomy. Anyway, so this is, I'll just show you guys a quick look at the difference between these. So I am on live here at the moment. So I could show you from, not everyone, and just to preface this, I personally like to run the Deep Focus Legendary, which increases my Rejuve by 40%. And with a 12% baseline buff to Rejuve, and then 40% on top of that, that is a further buff to this Legendary. All right? Math. So I'll take this off, just to, you know, I'll put on a different Legendary for right now. I just want to show you guys. So most people do not run this. They run Verdant Infusion, right? This is the amount of difference you can see running the spec I run versus, you know, not running Verdant Infusion. Just look at, I just want to show you guys the difference in Rejuve. It's actually crazy. If I Rejuve myself right now, look what it's healing for. 600. 600. And we're going to pop on over to the PTR. And we're going to press that Rejuve button. 1,000. That is a huge difference. This is again using the Deep Focus Legendary, but that is an enormous difference. And don't forget, this Legendary does work with Germination. If you do want a Germination, you could be healing for 2,000 per second here. 2,000 HPS essentially here, versus, you know, doing 1,200. That's a very large buff. That is a very large buff when you know, think about it like that. Or if you're thinking about Flourish, you know, I usually typically run Flourish. If I do a Soul of the Forest, check this out, check this out, check this out, check this out. Soul of the Forest, Rejuve, and then Flourish it. Look at this Rejuve takes for 3,000. 3,000 a tick. And that is without Mastery. That could be further buffs. Oh my god, look, and this is for how many seconds now? This is about a 25-second ticking 3K. That is crazy. Sorry, I'm kind of in awe. So maybe this WoW buff will be a big impact and something that we really need. Some side notes that you will notice that may actually buff this on top of that, and on top of running the Deep Focus Legendary, is when I've been running on when I was playing Necro, and I will go back to it, is Floor Recycling. So Floor Recycling Swiftmend healing is consumed. It is increased. It makes your Swiftmend bigger based on how big your hot that you consume is. And a lot of times I typically use it for Rejuve. And if I am, you know, now we have a 12% stronger Rejuve. So that 12% stronger Rejuve is going to actually benefit Floor Recycling even more. So that's going to make your Swiftmends even bigger. That's like another. That's a good, you know, counter to saying that they needed, you know, burst healing buffs. So this is actually going to be pretty nice. I am very excited to try out all these changes. You know, if you guys have seen my other videos, how much damage I was doing. And don't forget, you're getting a lot of passive healing on top of that, because even if, that's the coolest thing about I found with Adaptive Swarm is even if you use it offensively, and like you intentionally using it offensively, when it falls off, it's going back to a friendly target. So you are getting passive healing benefits at that time. Wait, I didn't even Adaptive Swarm it. Oh my god, hold on guys, hold on. Check this out. How big is this Rejuve gonna get? 4,000? 4,000 per Rejuve tick? It crit for 8k? That's a Swiftmend. That's a Swiftmend, man. I'm excited. Can't tell, I'm excited. And to end it all off, I just want to give my thoughts on what I'm doing. I think it's pretty clear. I'm gonna go back Necrolord. My main is currently Night Fae. I am going back Necrolord. If you guys have any questions about any stuff I talked about or what I'm doing, anything Resto Druid related, I love answering the comments. Please let me know down below. Try to keep it specific so I can give you a good answer as well. Make sure you like, subscribe to the video if you guys enjoyed. Tell a friend, and I'll be back for some more Rdruid content. You know where it's at. It's right here. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, everybody. Peace.